Scratch my ear real quick before we start. Oh, yeah, we started. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Structured Gibberish, the podcast. And I'm Brian. That's Pat. How you doing, Pat?
I'm here.
Great.
I
Great, great.
had a real long week, but it's
Mm-hmm.
over. It's Friday night. The mood is right. Gonna have some fun. Show you how it's done. Let's talk about shit.
TGIF. Yep.
Oh, oh yeah. That's not where I was going.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, I'll tell you, this week, at least, like work was much better for me than the week before. The week before was one of the roughest weeks that I'd had in a long time. This week, I got a nice break from work so that I could go have a tooth extracted. And it was really nice, honestly,
Super
just
fun.
having you get to lay in a comfy chair. You don't have to worry about closing your mouth at all. It was a really nice, relaxing break from work, which had been rough. Let me tell you, have you ever had a tooth extracted, Pat?
Maybe.
Okay. I don't know what your tooth extraction experiences are like, but can I share mine
Yeah, I
with
think
you?
yeah. Let's share our experiences quickly. Tell me about yours, please.
Okay, so I went in. So the thing with my tooth, it was like the back molar on the bottom. Over the years, it slowly kind of rotated sideways, and it was pressed up against the tooth next to it.
Was that a wisdom or was that a regular?
I think it's a regular.
Okay.
Uh, it started rotting, like it was pressed up against the other tooth so much that you couldn't floss in between them. Like they basically kind of fused. And it started rotting like from the inside to the point earlier in the summer. I thought I had something stuck in my teeth, and I like put my nail in there and went like this, and it just like popped a hole, like basically like sliced through my own tooth because it had become soft. Um, so anyway, I went to the dentist. They drilled it all out, put some goop on it, and said, "Go get this taken out." So I go in. The doctor gives me, they numb it up and everything. They do the thing. That was rather painful. All the shots and everything to numb it up. But then after it was numb, it was fine because he says, "Yeah." I said to him, "What's the process here? Like, what can I expect? Do you have to like drill it down, or do you just pull it out?" Or he's like, "Well, it depends on what's going on. We may have to like saw it into pieces, take the individual pieces out and stuff." And um, so I'm braced. I took the whole day off. I'm prepared for like, my. They had asked me originally if I wanted to go under for this, and I was like, "No, I'd prefer to just remain awake." And my wife is like, if they need to put you under for any reason, make sure you call me first so I can come pick you up, and you don't live there from now on. And so he comes in, and the nurse is like, if there's any stitches or anything, that they'll dissolve on their own, but just so you know, we might have to do stitches in there and everything. And I'm like, God, this is gonna suck. So he comes in. He's got the gloves on and the mask and everything. He's ready to go, and he's like, "Okay, I just want you to know this may take some time." I'm like, "Okay." So he puts the like rubber thing in your mouth so that you can't close your mouth and everything. He gets the medical pliers, and first he like pokes my tooth, and he's like, "Do you feel pressure here or pain?" And I said, "Just pressure." He goes, "How about here?" And he pokes a different spot, and I said, "Just pressure, no pain." He goes, "Okay." He takes the medical pliers. He grabs the tooth with the pliers, and he's kind of like wiggling back and forth a little bit, kind of twisting a little bit, and then he's like really twisting, really now he's like jerking my head back and forth. I can hear he's twisting and everything. I can hear cracking noises and
Mm-hmm.
everything. He's pulling back and forth, and then pulls the whole entire tooth out, drops it, and goes, "All right, we're done." And walks out of the room, and the nurse is like, "Okay," and she starts handing me paperwork and everything, and I'm like, "That was 30 seconds. There's no stitches, no." And she's like, "No, that's it. The whole tooth came out in one go." And I was like, when I when he said that this was going to take some time, the implication I thought was that it was a lot of time. I mean, I realized that it did technically take a duration.
It did
Yeah.
technically take up some time.
Yeah, it took some time for sure. And she's just like, "Yeah, I thought it was going to take longer too, but no, came right out." So I was in and out, and and that was it. So now I got a big hole, and I can't have any solid food for a while. So I've been eating Today for dinner, I had mashed potatoes and applesauce
Mm,
mixed together
yep,
because, as you
that
know,
was good, right?
any two things that I'll eat separate, I'll eat
Yeah.
together. I just got finished drinking a mug of chicken broth,
There you
cold
go.
because you
And
can't
nothing,
have hot
nothing through a
things.
straw, right?
Nothing through a straw.
Yeah, nothing
So
through a
this is,
straw.
yep, down the hatch. So Pat, how was your tooth extraction?
Mine was a little different. Mine was a little different. Now, I assume, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you have dental insurance.
Yes.
Yes. So it's a little different for us on the other side. I went to not an actual family dentist, but a place called Family Dental.
Hmm.
And you can just tell from the moment that you walk in there, their goal is to sell you on product. And product
Oh.
is any kind of service that they can provide. Now I too, my wisdom teeth were the problem with my. I've had a total of 4 teeth extracted and now everything should be okay. What happened was is my wisdom teeth were always kind of sideways,
Hmm.
but they retracted.
Hmm.
So like they would crown and they would retract,
Yeah,
and so that way
you're like a
I
Wolverine, but with teeth.
yeah, exactly, useless Wolverine. Um, so
Not
um,
even the front teeth.
no, way back here, way back here. And so what would happen is, every so often, every maybe 6 or 8 months, all of a sudden I'd get like an extreme pressure in my lower jaw. Um, and you just deal with that, and it is what it is. Um, but then much like you said, like it started pushing and then they stopped going back in.
Hmm.
And I had fillings back here. And the first one happened on this side. The tooth, I thought I had just broken, I thought I had a loose filling, but they were like, oh no, this tooth just demolished the tooth that had the filling because it was already weak.
Yeah, gotcha.
And so just burst that off. And so that one got infected. And so they removed that. And then it infected the next one.
Hmm.
And then on this side, they were about to do the same thing. And so they were like, okay, I still have the wisdom tooth back here on this side. But on this side, I have no wisdom tooth and no last tooth. And so, similarly, they sit you down. I was never offered the option to go under. Not that I would have taken it, but
That
it was never offered.
Yeah, that's pretty
Um,
expensive. I mean,
and
I'm pretty sure my insurance would have covered it, but I was,
right.
yeah, you never. I don't like to take chances with medical bills.
Well, and see again. So this is a very different process. So they gave me a quote before, and then uh they got me financing. It was like buying a car.
Oh wow.
So they set up financing and all this stuff, because again, it's a very big expense, especially when you're not. And I had to choose between two options. They were like, listen, we could do it the good way for a shit ton of money,
Hmm.
or we can get it done for still more money than you'd really like to spend. And I said,
Hmm.
well, I guess I'm going to have to go with the still more money than I'd rather like to spend. Um, they similarly, sit you down. They only have extraction specialists there on Saturdays.
Oh,
So
see,
my
I
appointment
went
had
to
to
a
be,
oral surgery place that
yeah, yeah.
everybody's a specialist there.
This is like I said, the day-to-day people are just there to sell you on different procedures to have.
Hmm.
um and then the people who actually do the hard stuff are only there on the weekends. And so my appointment was like 3 weeks out, and then they screwed it all up and I had to cancel. And then they put it for another 2 weeks out. And after that whole rigmarole, I get in there and I get settled, and they give you all the shots, and that sucks, especially because I was getting three at the time. I got two and one, so they did the whole like bop 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 bop. Not fun. Um, but the one over here that already had the one neighbor out was easy. That one
Hmm.
was out in just a minute or two. These two put up a fight, like the
Is that what they
yeah,
did? They just grabbed
absolutely.
it and pulled.
And then at one point, I said, I can really feel that. And he's like, well, just hang tight.
Listen, man, we didn't budget for you not
Right,
feeling
right.
it, so
He's like, it's too late now. I already put that needle away. So they wrestled it out, and then there were stitches. And then but you see, again, they didn't, because they don't care there. So they did not explain any of this to me.
mhm.
None of. And the first time I had no stitches, so I had no idea that there were going to be stitches. They left them very long. Like, I had to go in, like, I sanitized a pair of scissors and went in and clipped because it was like having a hair in the back of your mouth all the
Oh,
time.
oh
It
God.
was
Oh,
horrifying. And then, of course, and then similarly, when they did dissolve, it was just like, oh, this part came undone, so now you got like
now you got a
this
little
much
piece
just
hanging
like
off.
hanging. I was like, again, I was like in the bathroom with tweezers holding it and scissors. Your way was better. You got
Yeah,
the better. You got the good job.
de- definitely did. I mean, I'm pretty sure it would have been the same with or without insurance, but the
Probably. I mean, it
now
comes down to where you go, I think.
did you have because like they also talked to me about like you're getting like the swelling should peak after 3 to 5 days and the
Yeah,
pain
but
should be. Did you have any swelling or pain? Because I've had nothing.
I had a lot of pain, actually. I had a lot of, because
Well,
they
you had a lot more teeth out
I right, and
and
like
and
I can
stitches.
definitely feel, like, now I'm fine, 100%. I don't feel any issue with it at all. But my pain probably lasted for about 2 weeks. Not
Okay.
terrible, you know what I mean? It was never unbearable. They
Hmm.
gave me like 600 milligram ibuprofens that I took for the first like 2 days, and then after that I was like, it's not doesn't hurt bad enough to take
Yeah.
medicine for. I don't feel.
They gave me hydrocodone.
Oh, see, you get all the good shit,
I
man.
know, right? And it cost me like $3 because I also have the prescription coverage. But I haven't had any pain, and I've just been taking them for fun.
Hey, there you
So and
might
no swelling. Like I took one before the show. It's big. They're
the
pretty good.
swelling. I had a little bit of swelling, which is, they went and checked me out like a week later, and they
Hmm.
were like, oh, you know what you've got is, we should we should do an under the gum cleaning.
Oh,
That
I
is
had
another $1,700. And I was like, no.
no. I think I'll stick to the
Like,
tops of the gums. Thanks.
I'll and they showed like my level was just a hair below normal. And I was
Hmm.
like, I'm okay. I'm
This is
okay.
like when you go to the car dealership and they're just like
Right.
your battery's pretty good, but it's approaching,
Yeah, so we
and
should
we
probably
got a sale on batteries right
yeah,
now.
absolutely. And your air filter. We gotta get you
Yeah.
an
Oh,
air
got to
filter
get the
for
air filter.
sure.
Yeah. I had the under the gums cleaning done once.
Uh
I don't recommend it.
no,
It's not fun.
they showed me a video and I was like,
They
nope,
should never show you the video. Oh God.
this looks horrifying.
Well, I think we've lost all of our subscribers now
Yeah, probably. Let's talk
because of
about
that,
toys now that they're
which
gone.
was my goal. All right, now that they're gone, let's talk about toys. I don't remember what we said we were going to. Oh yeah, you were going to go through your crazy stuff that you found this week.
I had some good stuff. Where do you want me to begin? Is there hierarchy, or should I just have fun?
Just have the fun, man.
All
I
right,
don't.
we're gonna have the fun.
However you want to do
So,
it.
um, let's okay. Today, this very day, children,
Hmm.
um,
October
I
7th.
I received in the mail this
Bum bum
Spider-Man Noir,
bum.
Spider-Ham again. So
Okay.
the did you get one of these? Are you collecting the Spider-Verse?
No, no, I am not collecting. I am
Um,
trying my best not to collect any Marvel Legends. I only have you can barely see him, folks,
oh,
but I only have Japanese Spider-Man over here because technically a Sentai character.
and of course you're collecting the
Collecting the Lightning Collection.
cell cell shaded X-Men.
Yes, of course.
So,
Yeah,
well,
I have
anyway,
to get those.
I mean, this
Let me
this was honestly one of my very favorite movies the last
put you on full screen
several
here.
years. And so Marvel Legends, when they came out with the first wave of them and omitted Noir and Penny and what's her, I can't even remember what the robot's called, but
I don't
um
remember. I'll look it up for you while you're doing that.
awesome. So when they omitted those two, I was really bummed. I was actually ready to buy the Penny Penny and the Robot came out in like the value line. They're
Penny and the Robot.
Penny and the Robot, Penny and Brain. Um,
Yeah. uh,
but
it's SPDR,
oh,
but I
that's right.
is it
That's
pronounced
right.
spider?
Probably. So, this is the first. This was an exclusive. This was Target. We all know that there's different dick moves that the companies do. I
Hmm.
hate the way that Target does it. They constantly charge you and then don't take it back, and then charge you and then
Oh
take it
God,
back.
that's
And you're
that.
always like, "What is this charge about? Why is this here? Why isn't this?" And they're like, "Oh, I have a
If
pre-order. I have a
if I
pre-order."
can
Okay.
pre-order from anywhere but Target, I will. Even Walmart doesn't dick you around like that. Target is the worst, and for some reason, the Target exclusives seem to be delayed more than anyone else. Like Walmart, at least, they're just
Well,
like,
if you get them.
yeah, if
If
you
you
ever
get
get it
them,
right.
you probably are going to get them on time
Wal,
ish. But
yeah, Walmart, yeah, Walmart is
these
just like, yeah, you're
Target
never gonna get
exclusives.
this. We're not gonna charge you over and over, but you may not get this.
Well, this was very late. This was supposed to be. I had at least two. Hey, you're going to get it this date, except for you didn't.
Hmm.
So, again, this is the brand new, totally stupid, not necessary windowless packaging. I hate it.
I
Uh,
wonder how long windowless packaging is gonna last. It feels like,
it can't keep going.
yeah.
Um, that said, I did obviously open the figure already because I threw the box. And so here is Spider Ham.
Hmm.
He is different than, see, I have animals.
I do wanna mention though, at least some of these products, like these are showing photos of the actual toys on the windowless package. The thing I'm gonna talk about later does not. So,
I'll be honest with you. I think I like that better. Like I think at least like on the back of the box, it would be nice to see the actual toy. But I think I would enjoy.
just
A lot of
artwork.
Transformers do it now, where it's just cool looking artwork on the front of the box. You know, that's how they did it back in the day with the Migos. The very first set of Migos came out just basically blind box. It was a box. It had a comic book picture of Batman, Superman, Robin, Spider-Man. I can't remember who all came out, but that's all you got. You were just like,
Mhm.
oh, I don't have any other options anyway. If I want a superhero toy of Batman, this is the one. So here it is. Um, so anyway, so Spider Ham, I do have the Spider Ham that came with what's her name? Spider Gwen.
Penny, Spider Gwen.
Um and they
Oh yeah,
are they're the same mold as far as I could tell.
yeah, just different color blues
Yeah,
basically.
they're this one is like his red is not painted at all. It's just the plastic color, and
Hmm.
the blue is very shiny and dark. That's then this is the one that came with Spider Noir. This one, it would appear that it seems like the entire figure is painted. It's very
Interesting.
flat,
It actually,
uh,
like you can tell, it looks flatter, but to me, it just look. I mean, from the camera at least, just
right?
looks like it's molded in a less glossy.
And it could be. It's hard to tell if it's factory paint or not. Um, the blue is definitely paint. So it's possible that in both instances, his little tail is just tucked into the pant.
We're
It's not, and I don't know if that's on model or if they just didn't want to break out the pink paint and paint the tail.
gonna find
Um,
out. I'm doing it again.
but yeah, it's. I mean, I'm a little disappointed. I'll be honest with you. I was hoping he would at least be in a different pose, since the only posability on these figures is the ball joint on the neck.
Hmm.
It would have been nice for him to be like giving the handshake that was very classic, or anything really, just a little bit of a difference. Because now I don't even know what I need. What I don't know what I'm going to do with two Spider Ham figures that have no variances in them at all. So, on to the meat and potatoes though. Check this mother something out. I love this figure. Look at that.
That is dynamic.
Look at that. And if you look on his coat, up on the shoulders of his coat, I'm hoping this is going to come
The
through.
texture there.
It's there are painted halftones. Look at his hat.
Oh, yeah,
It's
nice.
beautiful. It is beautiful. I love the flare, the wind flare in his coat as well. His
It's
gun.
always windy wherever he's at.
It is. His gun has a holster. You could put it in there, you know, if you wanted. His hat is not removable, but um, somewhere around here, there it is. He does have a hatless head in case you want a more. I think Spider-Man Noir in the comics did not have a hat. So if you wanted more of a comic noir, you got that going for you. But I love. I mean, this is exactly what I wanted. The only thing that would have made this better is if I could have gotten a hand with like a black and white match burnt in it already.
Hmm.
That, and I might just try to get something in that hand there. It's wonderful. I did grab the rest of my Spider Verse guys just to kind of show them together a little bit. I Da, 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 I see it. You got your Miles. You know, this was a great set of legends. Um,
I
I
it's nice because they have a 3D, like the the most of the legends are based off of like 2D representations or like actual humans from the live action movies, and
Right,
these are based on cartoons. So you get a like they have a 3D cartoony thing
exactly. And
to
you know
go
what?
off of,
I
and
I
they can
mean,
match it pretty well.
they probably honestly could use just the same models. You know, I mean, like if you look at Gwen's face, which is very washed out in this light, there it is. Like that is totally on model because
Hmm.
they in fact had a model.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so yeah, that's definitely a beautiful thing. So I'm very happy with this. I'm excited to grow my Spider Verse. Um,
Spider
and
Ham tail update.
oh yeah,
The few images that I can find of his tail, it is blue, as if it
okay,
is either stuffed in his pants or his pants have a like
like
a
a sock.
tail sock.
Perhaps. All right, I'm down with that. So,
It seems that most figures of him
mhm,
omit the tail entirely.
well, it's. I mean, there can't be that many Spider Ham figures. What are there? Three?
Mm.
I don't know. Okay. So let's move along because
Moving
that was
along.
good. So I'm gonna go size. This is gonna all be size wise. We're gonna jump in the middle of our Marvel Legends because the next one after this is gonna be Marvel Legends. With a quick story. I'm a big fan of Hulk Hogan. I
Hmm.
bet you guys can't tell where this is going.
I'm
Um,
going back to you so I could see you. Okay.
I'm a big fan of Hulk Hogan, always have been. Not a huge wrestling fan of today, but loved 80s, early 90s wrestling.
Hmm.
Hulk Hogan always was my favorite guy. Maybe 6 months ago or so, Amazon had what they call the fan takeover, and they put it like, you know, this fan demanded figure out. It was Hulk Hogan in his original yellow and red costume, and it was awesome. I went to buy it. It had sold out like immediately, doubled in price immediately, and there it kind of sat for a long time. And I could never, because again, I'm not a big wrestling guy, so it's not like I can justify sometimes, you know, like right now I've got a figure arts Harley Quinn in my eBay cart for like $50, and it's like I really like that the Suicide Squad costume. It, I,
The
I'm
the
I'm
the Suicide
probably
Squad.
gonna pull the trigger on it eventually, but you know, I'm a huge fan of Harley Quinn, and I really love that costume. And so I'm not a big wrestling guy anymore, but I love Hulk Hogan. Long story short, I had the figure in my cart for save for later, and about a week ago, it showed up as in stock, regular price. I didn't really believe it. I because I clicked on it and it would just go to a oh, you know, like they do the little dog pictures on Amazon when something isn't there, and they're just like, oh, that doesn't exist, ha 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 ha. And so I'm like, am I gonna buy it? And then Amazon, I can just like tie up my money for a month because then Amazon's gonna be like, we can't find it. But ultimately, I said it's worth a shot. It's worth a shot. And literally a day later, because they in fact offered to deliver it that day, and I was like, no, 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 it's fine. Just do the
Hmm.
next day.
For
And then
for extra money.
no, it was for still for free.
Wow.
But here it is. It's here. It the only thing is, and I don't really care because I'm a loose collector. The box is for shit. Like it was
Wow.
opened, like the tape was broken. This flap is all
De-
wild and
deflapped.
there's a weird sticker on the bottom. I don't know if you, yeah, it's not really coming through there, but so I don't know if this was a return, maybe. I don't
Yeah, it
know.
could have been.
But the packaging is very, this is actually some of the nicest collector friendly packaging I've ever seen. It does, the only thing you had to do was cut the tape to gain access. And then I just want to point these out real quick. So you got these alternate heads and everything, and I don't know if you can really see, but there's a nice finger divot, so
Oh
you can
yeah.
pull the head out very easily. There's some by his feet. You can grab the feet very easily there, and the hands have them as well. Everything is very easily grabbed.
They
So
like that honestly is like common sense. Like every packaging should have like I need
it,
to take the
it,
figures
it
out, even if I'm not putting them back in.
and he only had one rubber band that connected a hand to an ankle.
Hmm.
And I was like, "Ah, this is, I mean, it stopped me from just yanking it out of the box, even though this was an online exclusive that nobody was ever going to see at retail. Whatever. Um, here's Hulk. This is a great figure. This is, the likeness is spot on. His
Let me spotlight you.
ridiculous tan is worse than He-Man's, and totally spot on to what Hulk Hogan looks like. He has the bandana. The bandana is removable. I have taken to putting just a little piece of poster tack in there to keep it on. This is something that I really adore about these.
Does the
That's
bandana go on any of the heads?
It does. It does. Which was, I was actually a little disappointed that they didn't just have bandanas on all the heads, because Hulk Hogan, I mean, until he was actually wrestling, he rarely had his head out of the bandana. But this is my favorite, is the painted detail here, um, on his baldness.
Wow.
Um, so you got that. He comes with two other heads. We've got um, very angry black eye Hogan,
Nice.
and then very, like, the one that's on him is kind of going like this, like,
Hmm.
this one is more like happy go lucky, yeah, maybe I'm gonna fight Andre the Giant, maybe I'm gonna buy him lunch, it's hard to say.
Yeah, it could be
uh
either one.
and then of course, I don't know how well versed you are in the Hulk Hogan's stuff of the past.
Not at all.
Exactly what I expected. But he was known for tearing his shirt off. You
Ah, yes.
probably at least are aware of
I'm
that,
aware
right?
of that, yeah.
So he does come with, the heads get on there pretty tough. He does come with a little shirt, and the shirt has some tears in the back, as per usual, and then
So you
it
could just tear it
also,
yourself.
well, the front is Velcro, so you can tear it. Um,
It's terrible, you're saying.
it is just terrible.
Okay.
Um, and so I'm gonna pop it on quick here, and I'm gonna give him a little head swap to give you guys just an idea of how versatile the figure really kind of becomes. Um, so new head, put the bandana back on him. The bandana, like I said, the bandana is a little loose, to be honest with you, which is why I put that little bit of poster tack in there. Um, I use that trick a lot for any kind of, especially if you're swapping heads between different collections or whatnot, But now it's like you're having a different Hogan figure altogether.
Hmm.
He's yelling, he's angry, he's ripping his shirt. You know, he also comes with a variety of hands. I'm not going to go switching his hands right now, but he had a couple of very signature, like he would do this and put his arm out like that. But and he would like listen for the crowd yelling, and so he
Hmm.
has a listening hand. He has pointing hands and muscle, fist hands. And then I really think this is very cool. Uh, this is a belt, and you can see it's a metallic.
It's yeah,
It
that's
is
coming through.
very, very neat. Um, And so all this stuff is awesome, and I'm super happy that I have this figure in general. But but give me one moment while I do this here.
But
One of the reasons that I was super excited about this particular pack
because you could put a hat on it,
is because you
the
could put
cowboy
it.
hat.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
Oh.
yeah, goose.
Well, I thought that was what you wanted to do with everything. Now was put a hat on it.
He already has a bandana. What is he going to do with a hat?
Cover up with the bandana. You ever seen Toby Keith?
I try not to.
He's he's always got like a bandana and then another bandana and then a cowboy hat. The guy doesn't want to. He
I
doesn't want to be cold.
I mean, that's fair. That's a fair thing to not want to be.
Hmm.
Um, but I tell you what, I want to be. This is it. This is the end all be all. This is my childhood right here.
I'm on the edge
This
of my
is
seat.
the He-Man Hulk Hogan wearing the shirt and belt. Look at that!
Now,
Oh
uh,
man, he looks so good.
that looks like it's made for that. That's awesome.
Right? And so this is totally what's happening now.
Hmm.
This figure is complete. I love it. It's done.
The other one can
And
go in the
the
garbage.
other one, I'm just gonna throw it away. No, I'm gonna keep this one because it's a badass Hulk Hogan figure, but he doesn't need to be wearing the shirt or the belt. I have the shirt and belt on the He-Man figure, and I'm super happy about that. So I was ecstatic to get this for retail cost. And like I said, I waited 2 days because like it's gotta be a scam or something. Because why would it just come back in stock? It was an exclusive. It's over. And nobody else has bought this up. So yeah, I was pretty stoked. So now onto the last toy bit I have today.
Hmm.
Last week, Brian, you might remember.
I barely remember yesterday.
um, we were talking about Hasbro's Marvel Legends. They had the big PulseCon. They were talking about a bunch of different stuff. I actually never got a chance to watch um, the the whole video. But in it, we reported last week that there were reports of the idea that the San Diego Comic Con set was going to get broken up, and you could buy the pieces separately, or at least some of them. They were saying Mojo was going to come out separately. We saw that Long Shot was coming out in the new retro packaging. Um, Literally the next morning, somebody posted on one of my toy boards, anybody interested should get their butts over to Amazon because Mojo is for sale. And I assumed pre-order, but nope.
There he is.
So there's his single packaging. Again, it's just a picture, but you get the that's the I always do that. You get the comic book image behind him. That's pretty cool, and the logo on the other side. On the back, see, I don't know. I don't know. I don't. We've talked about this. We don't love this stuff. This is the digital render. It's
Oh
not even
yeah.
the toy. It's just the digital render.
Hmm.
Um, so it's fine. It's fine.
Personally, I think if they're going to do this, it should be digital render on the front, make it look awesome, actual toy photo on the back.
I think this is what I want to see more of that. Well, not this particular image because Mojo's gross,
Right.
but
Well, I just mean
uh,
on the back, that's where the toy photo should be. If you're going to
yeah,
put a
oh
photo
yeah,
of the toy
yeah.
on
I
the
think
back, on the front, you can do
on
whatever
the
you want.
front, make it look awesome. I want it, like I said, I want to see more. Like if you're gonna sell me on this stuff, sell the character. Give me a fantastic looking image of the character on the front. And so I'm just like, I'm buying Mojo. I'm buying a toy of Mojo. It's not because the toy looks amazing necessarily. It's because it's Mojo. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Um, I think we'll get there. I honestly, I think that they're gonna quit this packageless shit or plasticless package.
I think they're
Uh,
going to, no, I think they're going to keep, I think they're going to, because of cost cutting, I think they're going to stick with without the plastic, but I think they'll probably eventually start cutting holes in it.
right. I mean, here's the thing. I can't imagine it's costing them that much. Like, let's be honest.
I
Because I
don't know.
mean, they could do this. They could do literally the exact same thing and just put a piece of plastic here so you can see the toy. Except, except, I don't know if you guys see how thin this package is, and that is because Mojo was a fucking puzzle. I
Yeah.
opened this up and like 15 pieces fell out. And I had to open them and be like, "What?" There are no instructions. There's not. I mean, you have to. Yeah, obviously, you assume things. You're like, okay, his head and shoulders and man boobs are attached to one thing, so you clip that to his belly, and the belly clips to the spider legs, and so on. Um, it it's a cool figure. It's a very cool figure. I definitely am happy I picked it up. Let's just for reference, I'm going to show you guys the Mojos of the past first.
Okay.
To my knowledge, this is the first and only Mojo figure from the 90s. So here he is in his X-Force packaging. He's can't really see well. I'm sorry about that, folks, but
Yeah,
he's
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 in there.
gross looking.
Hmm.
He's in there. His chair's there. Look at all those legs that you attach later. You know. Um,
My kids have a Mojo Jojo figure.
close, close. Now, I mean, I should state this is a pretty cool figure, to be honest. Especially for $5 back in the early '90s. You know what I mean? That's a huge figure for this wave. For, these toys rather.
Yeah, Mojo is
Um,
typically a huge
the
figure.
the his little back scorpion tail attached to it. When you pressed a button, it like lurched forward. And like I said, it does look like I can't confirm because I don't think I actually ever owned this guy back in the day, but the legs they do look like they're like ball joints down there that they would
Hmm.
plug into, and that makes sense. So
That was when did he come out? Like very early 90s?
this midnight 94. This was
Yeah.
94. So
Right when ball joints were just becoming a thing.
the ball joints were huge back then. The
Yeah.
balls on these guys.
Yeah. Tons of
Um
balls.
then
Balls for days.
probably around 10 10 years later we got this guy. This is the Build-A-Figure Mojo.
Ah, yes. Is that mine?
This is yours. This is
Ah,
this
nice.
one Brian just gave me
It's
recently.
yeah, it's not mine anymore.
Um,
He's in
and
a
so
better place now.
it's in a better place. This is very interesting to me, the choices that were made on this one versus the one we're about to see. His paint job is actually much more in depth on this figure
Hmm.
than on the one I'm about to show you, and it's very interesting. I really like a lot of the stuff that they did with this Mojo. This Mojo does have I would say less going for him than the other Mojo in ways of like articulation and stuff.
Hmm.
Um, but I love his paint job. They did a really good, like, he looks like a rotting banana.
Yeah.
And then like his look at that mouth. It's just
The bloody
this is
gums and
this
everything.
is terrifying. The wires are all painted various colors. There's rustiness to it. This is, and like I love the detail of his own chubby visage on on the sides of his spider chair.
Yep.
Just very very interesting choices. Um and not bad ones, not bad ones. He's a sturdy figure. I remember I had about half of Mojo, I think, from my build a figure, um just average pieces that I was picking up. I also like look at his like what can these things possibly even do for this character?
They
Like
can
they can just
feed him
poke his
sandwiches.
no, they
They can
can't.
scratch his
Like that's
tummy.
they can scratch his tummy. That's about all they're used for.
It's the
Uh,
yeah, the legs and arms on the thing were always kind of weird because it's got like the clear nubs on the bottom to make
yeah,
it look like
little bit of a hover thing,
yeah,
and then
but
these are,
the legs aren't in a position that look natural,
and they
you know?
don't like. There's very little to any movement allowed in these legs. So
Yeah, I
again,
always
this
thought
is
that
this
was the
is not a
major
bad
failing
figure, but
of
there
it.
there are some major issues with it. You
Yeah.
know, but again, once
As a
you sit it on a
Build-A-Figure,
shelf, it
yeah.
Ooh,
as a build a figure where you can, they have a lot more budget kind of per
right.
piece. You think
You
they
would
would have done,
maybe
they would have figured
expect a little more.
the legs just needed to be like molded in a slightly different angle. Like they didn't really have to
Yes.
move or be posable, but it just looks like he's like they've curled under him and he's like crashed a little.
Right. Absolutely. Now this was again this was in the relatively early days of the Toy Biz Legends, weren't we? Maybe midway, right?
He was like the third or fourth build a
Right.
figure, I want to say.
So
He
he
was
he was
very early on.
pretty early on. So again, you got this figure and 5 to 7 other figures for about
Forty
$40.
dollars, yeah.
So
How much did the new Mojo cost,
the
Pat?
new Mojo by himself costs $50. So
Okay.
not terrible in and of itself.
Fifty
Um,
dollars.
and we're gonna do a comparison. So here is old Mojo.
Mm-hmm.
Here is new Mojo. That is not forced perspective.
So he is larger.
He is much larger.
The legs look a lot better.
Um, the legs are fully posable. Each joint is um I forget what they call it. They're not a ball joint, but they're like a peg and ball. Basically, they have full range of motion. I'll show.
Mm-hmm.
I'll set another one down here, so go up and down, but then it also twists this way, so you can really get any angle out of that. And then there's another here and another here. Again, the things they really again they don't do too much for him, but they do have a lot more. They can almost reach his mouth if he wanted to have something. Um, but they're weird looking. They're cool. The paint job is it's not bad, but it's really not there. You know what I mean? Like they like airbrushed around the edges. It's not coming through very well on the camera. Just giving it just a shade
Yeah, you can
of
see
a
it now.
tinge of brown around his
It's
folds.
a little more cartoony
Um,
looking.
it is, and I mean that's like his all of his mechanical hair and such. The cables are all just silver. It could definitely have done with a dry brush to really bring that out more of one because there's a little bit of one on there, and maybe just a handful of strands of color. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This could be a really fun project to sit with for a while. Because again, like look at all this wire in the back here. It would be great just to get
Oh
some
man,
colors in there a little bit.
what does the back of the other one
Um,
look like?
the back of the other one
It's fairly plain,
is
right? Oh no.
no,
Oh, it's
no,
actually better.
very well detailed. So if they could have gotten this paint on this figure, mind blowing, mind blowing. But again, like we said, this is cleaner. This is more up the animated alley. You know, I've got him in his like I want you, you know, like the face.
I,
He did come with two portraits, if you want to call them that. It's a portrait. It's just scary. I really like the tongue on this one.
it's gross.
Um, there's there's this one who's slightly more
He looks.
subdued. He's
Yeah, I don't know if he looks
still
crazier
creepy.
or less crazy.
This is crazy talking. This is crazy quiet smiling. So I mean, they both have their place. I feel. And then he did come with some other hands. The hands are very big and creepy and weird, and I love that. Um, but again, this. Uh, I would say if you look at their body types, like this is what not fat people think fat people look like, and this is much more accurate to what fat people look like. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
like this is like, oh, they're disgusting, and there's folds everywhere, and it's people, big folks are just kind of big. So, but I don't know which makes a better toy, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Like, this, I mean, the character is supposed to be grotesque. You know,
Hmm.
he's supposed to be that pushing it to the limit of bleh. And that one, this one sells it completely. This one maybe a little bit more, like you said, cartoony is the way. I feel like they took out some of the detail. The bulk of the detail is there. It's a very, they're they actually, they don't weigh much different, because this is kind of a secret. Um, the tummy on this one is squishy.
Oh,
It's
that's
it's
actually kind
like,
of fun.
it's not like the plastic is just definitely hollow. You can kind of feel that there's a structure. There is a nice joint. There's like an ab crunch that definitely doesn't exist in the ab. Um, but it gives them some range of motion there.
The abs are in there.
They're in there. They're in there. But I mean, the joint is literally like right under the teat.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
and so I don't know. Like I said, I think this is a fantastic figure. This is a great figure. It could have used a little bit more paint. But other than that, like I would honestly say, I wonder if um the Comic Con one had more paint apps, maybe.
Maybe
Um,
we could look it up, but I'm
yeah,
not gonna
who
because I'm
would?
busy looking up the Build a Figure Mojo originally and when he was released and everything. I have a
Nice.
lot of information about it. You want to hear all the information?
Let's hear some info. I like it.
He was the
This is
one, two, three, four. He was the fifth Build a Figure, and there were only six Build a Figures from Toy Biz. It looks like
real.
so. He
So
was
he
actually
was very late in the Toy Biz line then.
yeah Galactus, Sentinel, Apocalypse, Onslaught, and then Mojo, and then Modoc. So um, he was made from Falcon with Red Wing, Iron Man,
Mm,
Longshot, Luke Cage, Psylocke, and Baron Zemo. Now, here's the interesting thing: it lists which pieces came with which people,
uh-huh.
and uh, with Iron Man, it says Iron Man came with his metasoma. So then I had to go and Google what that is, and there's a bit of a burying of the lead here. It says the metasoma is the posterior part of the body or tagma of arthropods whose body is composed of three parts, the other two being the prosoma and the mesosoma. In insects, it contains most of the digestive tract, respiratory system, and circulatory system, and the apical segments are typically modified to form genitalia. In a few of the most primitive insects, like the Archagnathia, the metasomal segments bear smaller articulating appendages called styli, which are often considered to be vestigial. They are also pre-apic. Anyway, several paragraphs later, it says, in scorpions, the metasoma is the tail. So there you go. That's the tail. So, Pat,
Yeah. Okay.
are you
So,
happy with your
um,
new Mojo? If you
I
had
am.
to pick one,
If I had to pick one, I would go with this one. I like
okay.
this one. I think that this one, could, with a little bit of customization, um, could be as good as the original with much better articulation. So,
Hmm.
very happy with it, and I felt special because we didn't even know this thing was going to happen. Like, Hasbro didn't like announce that they were selling them until after I had already received mine. So I felt special. Got mine just a little bit before everybody else.
I
Uh,
was I just went over to Hasbro's website
mhm.
to like hit to Hasbro Pulse, and I don't even see it there yet.
I don't know that it's actually up for sale yet. Maybe, I don't know. I know
So
that they
you got
announced it
it.
officially,
You got it in hand before Hasbro themselves actually
and
announced it officially.
it was from Amazon proper. So it wasn't like a some weird seller on Amazon. It came from, as far as I can tell. You know how Amazon is sometimes. They It could have been somebody else, but it seemed to have been just through Amazon.
Hmm.
And like I said, I think the retail price was 50. I don't see it being any more or less than that anywhere else. Now I have seen pictures of people already finding this on shelves at Target too.
Hmm.
So this is one of the I think this is one of those weird COVID breakdown release things where it's like, yeah, we probably weren't expecting to have this for a long time, but do. So here you go, everybody.
Yeah,
Enjoy.
yeah.
Um,
Whenever that happens, sometimes Hasbro just decides, you know what, we're not gonna announce this. It's already out. There's no official announcement. Like,
No official announcement, just enjoy.
Yeah.
So,
People get really caught up on the announcements. There's some Lightning Collection figures that have been released and came and gone, and Hasbro never officially acknowledged them. And people are just like, does it exist? Like, is it real? It's like, yeah, I mean, it's real. They just didn't have a live stream to tell you about it. That's all.
yeah, yeah, it's real. I have it in my hand right now. I'm telling you. But, well, but I mean, also, I'm sure that there are people, because there's also all that happens all the time to me, where everybody seems to have the new toy, and I'm like, where the did you find it? And they're like,
Hmm.
Target, man, it's all over, and it's like, no, it's
Target in the UK or something like that. It's
not.
it's we're in a weird spot being in the Midwest where we're not near any of the coasts,
Right.
so oftentimes we don't get them. We don't get them first, but then every so often you do. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's take a quick break here, Pat, so I could refill my cup of broth or whatever, and then we'll be back to talk about some other cool stuff. That was the last of your stuff, right?
That was the last of the toys. They have that one other thing
Right.
that
Okay.
we're going to look at after when we come back.
Cool. All right. Then we will be right back. All right, we're back. Um, so I wanted to talk real quick before I hand the mic back to Pat about some cool things that I got recently. Some vintage finds. Excuse me. That was embarrassing. Um, so there's a collector place nearby, Crown Point Collectibles. It's a resale shop for nerds. Um, and they've got all the what was that face? That's an
Because
accurate
it was.
description.
It was very accurate. I went like
Yeah.
this. I went, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So I occasionally take a box of toys over there to sell to them, and I had taken a box of loose Marvel Legends with half the accessories missing, and they were like, the old Toy Biz ones apparently don't sell very well because
They don't. It sucks.
they've all been superseded by newer, better ones.
Right.
So yeah, I gave them this box of old Marvel Legends, and they're just like, we can't really. I mean, we can give you like the minimum. I'm like, what's the minimum? Or what's the most you'd give me? Like, what make me a reasonable offer? I don't have anything. I just want to get them out of my house. Basically, they were like, we can give you $100. You know, which honestly, for the amount of figures in there, was probably a fairly good return on investment, given that I spent like $7 or $8 on each one
Right.
back in the day. But so I ended up they ended up giving me $115 in trade, and what I got in that trade was two G1 Transformers that I had never had before, never even physically touched.
Wow, that's fun.
So the first one, um, I had a hot rod toy when I was a not when I was a kid. I got the commemorative edition
Mm.
hot rod in like 2001 or two or something like that, and that was at that point that was farther from now than that was from G1. But um, I always suspected,
Oh.
I always suspected that the hot rod toy was actually a better toy than the Rodimus Prime toy.
Mm.
Just from my studies of the insert pamphlets, which I did study quite a bit as a kid and tried to work out how everything transformed.
Those were the best.
So let me spotlight myself here. So this is what I picked up. Uh,
That is a clean figure.
it's well, the figure itself is good. The stickers are not in
Mm.
great shape, but I don't personally care because like the paint,
Right.
like paint apps and everything are solid. Um, he does have no diecast that I'm aware of. The Hot Rod figure does have diecast. Rodimus Prime does not. Um, this does confirm to me 100% though that the Hot Rod figure is actually the better of the two. Um, this guy has his posability is this
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though his legs look like they should be posable, they are not. Um, this one though is almost complete. He is missing like two flaps on the gun on his Winnebago trailer. Um, so his Space Winnebago trailer. There's supposed to be two little flaps that stick out of the side here for him to protect him, and those are missing. But other than that, he's complete and he's in pretty good shape. I don't know if Toy Hacks has labels for him or not, but the labels could use a little work. But even like the chrome on the chrome is
Yeah,
held
I
up
mean that
fairly
looks
well.
it looks nice.
How's the, I think the side I was showing actually looks a little bit better. This side is still good, but there's a couple of chips on it.
Hmm.
But he's not like his transformation is fairly like you just take this off entirely, you just do this kind of a thing,
Uh-huh.
and then it's like that's it. There you go. That's the
Yeah.
front of the thing, and then you just go there. Space
That's a
Winnebago.
that's a good sound though.
Oh
That
yeah, isn't
clicking
it?
it just makes it, oh,
It's a
that is
this is get your
some
ASMR ready.
right. Oh, it's some beautiful plastic sounds right there.
So I have never had a Rodimus Prime before. Now I have a Rodimus Prime. I don't
There you
collect
go.
G1 anymore, like I obviously did as a child
Right.
when that was Transformers. But there were a couple that I always was like, if I ever find a good one, I'll probably pick it up. Um, and this one's it's a classic.
Hmm.
It's Rodimus Prime, the second prime of our youths. But that is not all, Pat. I did get one other thing
Let's see.
because he was only, I want to say he was like $60, but I also got
Oh,
the only
I love
Dinobot I never had as a
this.
child,
Oh, that's awesome.
Sludge.
He looks great too.
He is in pretty darn good shape. I mean, his tail
Yeah.
doesn't really stay together very well, but
Yeah.
honestly, like he's in really good shape. The chrome, I mean, I could polish that up a little bit. It's not chipped off or anything. It
Right.
is a little scuffed, but it's not chipped off. The stickers are in much better shape than Rodimus Prime, the few stickers that he has.
Uh-huh.
His transformation is really like he's got one loose joint in the crotchal zone. Um,
Tee.
but other than that, I mean, he's in fantastic shape, and I was
Yeah.
really he was like $55, I think. So he comes with he came with everything except two of his three missiles, which is fine. So it's like you can't really, I guess you can't really see it in there, but he comes with two missiles. He was supposed to come with three missiles. He has one. So
I have some random parts laying around that I had some Dinobot accessories. I can check and see if there's a missile in there. If I got it, it's yours.
sweet. I really don't need more than one because he can't hold more than he comes with three things and he's only got two hands. So,
Well, that's fair.
but when I was a kid, I had Swoop from a garage sale,
Hmm.
and he was of course broken in the traditional fashion. The beak always broke. Everybody's beak broke off, so I got him with Sans beak. I still would like to one day get a complete Swoop. But then I had the Generation 2 versions of Grimlock, Snarl, and Slag, who which were exactly the same because I had the first release came out in these colors, like exactly G1 colors,
Uh-huh.
and they just had the like somewhere on the body they had tampoed their the character's name and their logo. That's what they did in Generation 2. They wrote their names all over them. So that was really the only difference between G1 and G2. And then the next releases, it was like now they're blue and now they're green and now they're red and all sorts of but yeah, but this was the only one. He wasn't released in G2, and so this was the only one that I've until I went to the store that day. I had never physically touched this toy,
That's awesome.
and I'm very happy to
Making
finally have it.
dreams come true.
Yeah,
Well done, Crown Point
and I
Collectibles.
and I have the Power of the Primes version of this guy.
Hmm.
I've got the new I guess it's Legacy version of this guy, or no, it's the Studio Series version of this guy, which is bigger. I've got a third party Masterpiece version, which is very large. Like I've had this character, but now I have
You have the
this
one.
guy. Like if you asked me to pick like one of these two,
Uh,
it'd be this one.
to be honest with you, I'm not huge on G1. I'm a very pick and choose cherry picker Transformer guy. Um, I think I would enjoy having the Dinobots.
They're so good. They're
They're
such good. I mean, they're Diaclone. Like
uh
they're some of the oldest molds, and they're so good.
they're really neat looking. They're well put together and they're fun. They're
Yeah,
robot dinosaurs. I mean, fuck.
I mean they got like with most early G1, they have almost no posability. It's the same as Rodimus Prime. His arms go up and down, but you get the Energo sword or whatever however you pronounce it, the
Uh-huh.
Energon sword. You get a gun, like a static plastic gun. Here, let me just open this up. So you get his normal sword.
Hmm.
You get his normal, just like static plastic gun,
Uh-huh.
and then you get this gun, which shoots a missile. But of course, oh god, it actually shoots the missile. Oh, boo! I didn't expect that to actually still be
That's like Lego tech right there.
boom.
That's
So yeah,
awesome.
so you get that. Um, yeah, and then normally you would have three of these. So if you have more of a thing that looks like this,
Yeah, I'll
let
let
me
you know.
know. So I'm super excited to have this. I don't have like I would have to really dig out. I don't know where the other Dinobots are, to be honest. I
Uh-huh.
I have a bin which I refer to as the most important bin that I own, and it has all of my G1 in it. and it's surprisingly one of the smallest bins that I have because G1 figures were actually fairly small, and a
Right.
lot of them are like Micromasters and stuff. But and then there's a lot of like random Japanese figures that I had as a child that I don't know how I got them, but they were like, it's like I have the one. Um, God, I don't even remember what show it was, but like the toy line that Whirl and Roadbuster come from. There's a third robot that was deemed too goofy for Hasbro to take over. Like they didn't want that. They only took two of the three for Transformers, and I have the
Uh-oh.
third one, like the
That's
from the
funny.
original whatever Japanese toy line it was. I have it,
Uh-huh.
and I don't have Whirl or Roadbuster. I don't have the Transformer ones, but I have the original one that never became a Transformer. I don't know why. I have a Zabungle, whatever that is. I don't know how I got that. I think I got like a haul at a garage sale at some point when I was a kid,
Must
but
have, yeah. That family went overseas the year before and
yeah, I probably assumed that as a kid. I probably assumed it was like a GoBot or something.
right.
So,
It's a
but yeah,
pretty safe assumption sometimes.
that was a pretty good because I had seen on Facebook. I don't go on Facebook very often, Pat, but someone had sent me a message on Facebook, and I opened it up and just happened to see that the Crown Point Collectibles. They were like, "Hey, we just got a huge shipment of G1 stuff in. Like we just restocked our G1 cabinets." And they had a picture of it all up, and I was like, "Oh, okay." File that in the back of my mind for whatever. And then like the next day, I was in Crown Point for something, and I was like, "I'm gonna just go stop over at the place." And I happened to have a box of toys in the trunk that
Right.
I've been driving around with, so
It
it's
was
nice.
funny. I almost got to go like 3 weeks ago. My daughter had a Girl Scout meeting out there, and I didn't even realize where it was while we were going. And then I was like, oh, it's in the big thing in the square. Oh, we're
Yeah, it's in the
right
town
here.
square.
They were closed.
Sunday.
No, it was just like a
Yeah.
late
Hmm.
meeting.
Excuse
So
me.
I think they were open for like 10 more minutes, and I was like, I'm not gonna be that guy. So
Cool, 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 cool. Yeah, we should. You and I should head over there again one of these days. I got a couple more boxes of stuff to take over to them. I only take one box at a time because I don't want to overwhelm them with stuff.
I mean that's
But
well, I mean, heck, the box that you took the time before that was like a gold mine.
apparently it was.
They were
That was good. I just took that in cash.
right. They were just like, hey man, this is a good amount. you
Yeah,
you wanted because I remember we were like talking. You're like, I mean, I'll take like 100, and then there was like,
yeah,
boom, and you're
right.
like,
It was. I'll tell the story. I'll give the numbers. It's fine. But
okay,
just kind of like adding up what was in the box and being like, I don't think any of this stuff is really worth anything. So I'm like, if they give me like $10 a thing, or $15 a thing, or something like that, then whatever the number was, it's like I'd probably take like $100 if
well,
they
you know what,
offered.
you had the laughing Prince Adam, and I think that's a pretty good
I think,
piece.
yeah, I agree. I think that was the
But
thing that put it over the top.
yeah,
That was a cool figure too. It doesn't fit in the theme of
I
my
get you,
stuff, and I
I
didn't know where
get
to
you.
put it. So, but yeah, so like I gave them the box, and I'm expecting like, yeah, they're gonna give me like $80 or something. Like I'm prepared for them to be like, lowball, and the guy, he does the thing, and looks it all up and calls me over, and he's like, I think the best we could probably do is maybe $300, and I'm like, okay, I'll take it. That's fine. I'll take it. Yeah. So
I
that
mean,
was good.
I
I
already
mean,
bought him.
you win some, you lose some. Like the box of Marvel Legends, that I took over there, and they offered me $100. Like I probably would have, I would have probably expected more,
Mhm.
but at the same time, like they were all the old ones and stuff, and they don't go for
It
much.
kind
So
of sucks because I too have an awful lot of older Marvel Legends that they're just not worth anything. And it's just like because like you said, there are much better versions of almost all the characters. The only ones of the original Marvel Legends that are holding pardon me, any value are characters that they have not remade yet. And that's all you can hold on to because well, when Mojo came out, and I was like, "Oh man, I picked it up." I was like, "I wonder what the build a figure does go for." You're gonna be real lucky if this guy pulls in $30. you know.
Mm.
But which again, like we just said, that is almost recouping the entire amount of money you paid for this, you know? So it's all relative. At one point, I think that any build a figure before they started remaking them, any build a figure you would get at $100 at least. You know, I remember we used to at the shop we used to sell Galacti all the time.
Yeah.
You know, look, we had Galactus, we'd put him in the window and he'd sell, and it was like $150 every time, and it was great. So,
Yep.
um, but yeah, I love I love toy shops. I haven't been out to Dave's in a really long time. I really want to go out there soon.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Oh, I wonder if he'd
and
want my Eagle Moss Star Treks. I should just email him
let's
and
bring
see.
it. Well, yeah, just to hit him up on
I
Facebook.
don't. I wouldn't want to drive those all the way out here and for him to be
Um,
just like
I will tell you, there's only one thing Dave has ever refused from me, and and
Tor the
it's
Shuttle Zord.
no, no,
Oh, what?
our Zivaz collections. You
That's
you
right. You
you
told me
gave
that.
me your set, and I was like, I don't even know why I want these, and so I brought all of them out to Dave, and I was like, it was a whole like it's like a big tub. Some are in the package still, and I
Hmm.
was just like, yeah, and he's like, oh, these are like the building figures. It, and he's just like, do you mind if I don't take these? It's like, I mean, I'm not gonna make you take them.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's.
they're apparently unsellable.
I
Although
mean, I.
ironically, um, the one of the four horsemen, um, yeah, the sculpting guys, not the apocalypse guys, um, he said that it's one of his very favorite lines that ever existed.
Really.
Yeah. And I
Oh,
was like,
that's interesting.
I contacted him and was like, are you at all interested in buying a bunch of loose ones? And he said, no.
I love
So,
it so much, but I couldn't. I couldn't possibly.
no, no, thank you. Get it away from
I couldn't. I couldn't take that pleasure away from you. Yeah, it's fun. A place like Dave's is like this is Quake Collectibles we're talking about in Chicago. In case anybody wants to go look that up.
me. Sure.
We call it Dave's because Dave's the owner and it's his shop. So
Yeah.
I mean that's how it tracks. But anyway, he's that place is like you like there are things that you could not give him for free because he doesn't have the floor space to put it out.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
His.
I like to think of Dave's as a treasure hunting place
Yeah.
because you literally have to dig.
When you go
There's,
to Crown Point Collectibles, it's nicely organized. Oh, I need the Marvel Legends, they're going to be here. I need the Transformers, they're going to be here. It's like loose things, or even loose things are split
yeah,
apart by category and
they're
stuff, and they're
very
really,
nicely organized there,
yeah,
which
and
is
they
great.
they got room technically because you can walk around and not bump into people. Technically, they've got room. They could
Right.
put more stuff out, like add a whole nother row and be as cramped. But like Dave's is like stuff piled floor to ceiling, and you're
Right.
like
And there's
squeezing
just
around
there's a
people.
circle around, or I would say a figure eight, because there's like a middle
Yeah,
piece that you move around, and if it's a busy day, you just move with the
yeah,
flow of the
right.
people.
And
And
it's like stuff is for the most part somewhat grouped together. Like I know where I kind of go for Transformers and stuff, like, but then it's like
if they're in the
you're gonna
case, then
you're
he'll put them like all together. But
yeah,
other than that, it's like,
odds are you'll find anything anywhere. Like even if it's like this is where most of this thing is, you'll still find some of it somewhere else. And you just got to look around. You got to dig through everything. Every time you go, there might be something new you find.
and that's the beauty. I have found well. I think I want to say the reason that Dave and I started becoming friendly. I don't know that Dave considers me a friend. I would consider Dave a friend, but
Hmm.
that's weird.
Frenemies, yeah.
Um, but one of the very first things that I ever like, I was in the shop, and God, this was probably 10 years ago, 15 years ago, maybe more. I was in his shop, and somebody was buying Thundercats,
Hmm.
and they didn't know the names, and I was just like, oh, that's blah 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 blah. And he was like, oh, okay, okay. And I couldn't tell if he didn't like me, because Dave has got that kind of a real dry sense, but I know Brian. And Brian is the driest person I've ever met. And so
True.
it helps you figure other people out sometimes. So I was like, I think he likes me fine. And then like the next time I went in the shop, he had superpowers figures, and this was at the time he had a cyborg for sixty
Ah.
dollars.
Oh, is
And for
that
the
good or not?
love of God, I wish I had had $60. I will tell you right now, Cyborg is at least a $500 figure.
Jeez.
At the time, I had seen him go as high as 300. And I was just like, I was hemming and hawing, and I was looking at it, I was like, there's no way I can come up with $60, even though I know it's such a good deal. At the time, I think I worked at the comic shop, I think, or we were just starting the comic shop up. So I had no money. And so I was like, ah. And before I left, I was like, I just got to tell you, you're priced way too low on that cyborg figure. And he's like, oh, really? What? And I was like, I mean, look it up on eBay, man, because that these things go for hundreds of dollars. I would love to give you $60 for that right now, but I can't. And you're shooting yourself in the foot with that. And he goes, oh, okay. And he didn't take it down or anything, so I thought he kind of blew me off. But the next time I came in, he was like, hey, I put that cyborg up on eBay and I made like 180 bucks on him. And I was like, see, so that's how we started getting a nice rapport. And now like we know each other by name, we talk to about each other's families. So we've got at the very least we have a very healthy customer seller relationship. And like I said, I would consider Dave a friend, at the very least, and a good acquaintance.
Mhm, mhm,
So,
mhm.
um, but yeah, I
Yeah.
love I love it out there.
Let's get back on track. I know
Oh,
you
okay.
wanted to talk about one more thing, but you also wanted to, and I don't want to forget about this, is why I'm moving it up a bit here, but you wanted
Uh-huh.
to talk a little bit about Inktober.
Oh yes, Inktober.
I was
So
going to do that at the very beginning and then I forgot. And so now I'm making sure we get to it.
good. We're just squeezing it in. So Inktober. Don't know if you guys have ever heard of Inktober, but Inktober is a really stressful thing. No, it's fun. It's a fun thing.
It
Um,
should be a fun thing. It
it
shouldn't be
should be a fun
stressful.
thing. It gets stressful, but basically what it is every year, this organization comes out with a list of prompts, 31 prompts, and you're supposed to start October. Any artist or aspiring artist or person who just wants to get creative takes these prompts and does an ink-based drawing on each one of the things, and you release it each day. I'm going to show you a couple of mine from this year in just a second. Um, but what has always happened to me, and has happened this time as well, I always hit a snag sooner or later. And I feel
Hmm.
like most of the people do, unless they're professional artists whose job is to draw and create content for their pages and stuff. Most of your average Joes are gonna hit a snag. For me, we had a real we have we have a 5-person crew at my job. It's literally 5 people run the whole place. 2 of them were out this week. Technically 3 of them, but 2 of them made sure that they were not off at the same time. So I was steady all week with the main. We have a salesperson. I am the artist. We have a manager. We have a production person that does silkscreen and a production person that does embroidery, and that's it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So myself and the embroidery person were the only 2 people who were there all week. The main salesperson was out all week, which is the way it's structured is when you walk into the store, you actually see me first. I'm the person you're facing. So people come up to me anyway all the time, but usually there's a salesperson that would stop them from bothering me, and they would take them. So I had to handle all the people coming in the store, and I had to answer all the phones, um, and do my job, do all the artwork for the show or shop. So I got really burned out this week. Is the bottom
Hmm.
line. And I've got a couple of customers on the side as well, so I had to make sure I was servicing them. Um, but long story short, I made it 4 days straight, and it's only the seventh, so it's not terrible. So just a couple of catch ups. So maybe tomorrow I can bust out 3 drawings. But again, I'm gonna get this is gosh, I should know this. This has been going on for a long time. So we're getting it. I feel like it used to be easier. Like they used to be like, oh, here's a prompt, and the prompt would immediately you would be like, cool, I can go 15 different ways with that. I'm gonna make you that awesome. These are getting harder. And I like to be creative with them if I'm bored. Like there's the last one I did I didn't care for. It was just very boring. I couldn't think of something fun to do with it. And that's, again, that was part of my fault, partly I would say partly the burnout, but part
Hmm.
of the fun is trying to figure out a good um maybe a good nerdy angle or so, just making it enjoyable for me to draw.
Yeah.
So the very first one was Gargoyle,
Ah, so you
which
drew.
I initially was just going to go straight in, just Goliath it up, or you know Disney's Gargoyle. I was gonna do that, but I saw about 20 posts already of that, and I was like, it's just gonna be white noise. Nobody's gonna care. And again, nobody really does care because that's the thing. You really shouldn't be doing this for any other reason except for expressing and having a good time. But there's that little voice in the back of your head that you wanna, somehow become a social media star via what you're doing, which never happens.
Hmm.
But I found a very unique looking gargoyle from a castle, and I don't know where. I've just found it on the internet, and so here is. I'm gonna cover up the one, keep it
Yeah.
surprising.
Hold
Here
on. I'm gonna
is.
let me spotlight you here. Hold on. Go.
So there is my gargoyle.
Now
Um,
that's pretty darn good there.
he's like getting sick or something. I really don't know what the deal was with him, but I really
It's a
enjoyed
really hot day.
his
It's really hot.
pose. Yeah. Um, Now the next one was scurry, and so this is what I kind of mean, where it's like, what do you what comes into your head? You want to draw scurry,
A bunch of rats.
rats, maybe, squirrels. I was thinking about doing Chip, Green Lantern Chip, and then
Okay.
I was excited. I had a good idea, I think, and I instead did Thing.
Oh, that's
Because
pretty good.
that's what he does. He scurries about,
Mm-hmm.
when he's not popping in and out of boxes. But that is what he does. He scurries. So, and I like doing these. I did this the last time I really made a go of it. I like giving these kind of like circle, like porthole. You're just kind of viewing this little snippet. And then I like doing very kind of blobby backgrounds. Um, and only using outlines on the main figure. So that those were my first two, and here's my next. I was proud of this one. I don't know if it's a good drawing or not, but I was proud that I came up with the notion. This one was Bat. Of course, everybody drew Batman and you know
Man
vampire
bat.
bats and man bat. There were a lot of man bats out there, but I drew a Jose Canseco bat.
Ah, nice. Nice.
So I don't know if people necessarily got the gist, but I did, and that's all that matters. 'Cause
Mm-hmm.
Jose Canseco bad.
That's all that matters.
And then for day four, the last so far my last entry was Scallop.
Oh, I don't actually know what a scallop looks like.
I didn't either. Yes, you do.
Oh, is it like a shrimp? Oh,
That is a scallop.
no kidding.
And so, I
Huh.
mean, I went through a couple of options in my head where I was like, well, maybe, I mean, I could draw like the Little Mermaid getting a little. But then
Okay.
I found it a little too inappropriate.
Hmm.
I like to be able to show my daughter these pictures, so I don't want to go across the line. So I just drew a scallop.
Hmm.
And ironically, again, like I said, the steam went out of me. I also lost three markers. Like all of
You
my lighter grays
like?
died with that picture.
Oh, not like you misplaced them.
No, they're literally sitting right here. There's just no ink left in them.
Gotcha.
So I either need to replace them, or these are the expensive kind. These are Copic markers or Copic or I don't know how to say it. And so technically you can buy just ink refills, which sounds like a good idea, except for the ink refills cost more than just buying a new marker. And I know
Ah,
you
you
get
could.
more, like in the long run, you get like more marker refills out of it, but
Mhm.
in the short run, I don't make that much money. So it's usually just to replace the marker. These are like they're not crazy, but they're kind of crazy. They're like $7 a marker. So running out one at a time sucks. Running out three at a time, you're like, so I'm hoping that I'm gonna go pick up another set of these three tomorrow from I usually just pick mine up from like Michael's, or I can't remember if Joanne's carries them or not, but Michael's is usually where I go. So so yeah, but like I said, it's fun. It's, part of the entertainment is trying to figure out things that aren't conventional, like I said, like the Jose Canseco bat and stuff like that. Like I don't want to do just the basic prompt. Right now, I'll tell you guys the ones I'm behind on. Uh, and this is where I start getting stressy in my own head. And you don't have to, and I encourage you not to. In fact, but now I'm like, okay, all right, it's the 7th. I'm definitely not getting one done tonight, so I got to make up like four tomorrow. So right now I'm missing out on number 5 was flame.
Okay.
Number 6 was bouquet.
Mhm.
Number 7 was trip. And,
Hmm.
and like, do you draw like a map? Do you draw somebody falling over? Like that's, who knows? And tomorrow's is match. Um, so there's fun things to do with all these. There's not a whole lot of like, oh man, I can't wait to get to this one in this list. I'll do a real fast rundown of everybody else on the list, and that can kind of end this segment out. Um, we've got trip, match, nest, crabby, eagle, forget, kind, empty, armadillo, foul, salty, scrape, ponytail, bluff, bad dog, heist, booger, fairy, tempting, ego, snack, camping, uh-oh, gear, and farm. Now,
Forget is a good one because you could just
forget
skip
it.
that one.
Forget is great. Oh, I forgot to draw it. Which reminds me of my favorite piece of modern art, which I'll get to in just a second. Um, Part of me wants to throw all these things together, like have a guy tripping with a match in his hand, causing a bouquet to catch flame, and then say, there you go, I'm done. One picture, I'm done. And that might be what I do. Because again, there really aren't that many rules in this, as long as you're doing something creative with it. People are usually not shitty about that. um, and the other thing is that it's a way to get a little bit of notice. um Facebook is useless. If you share, I mean, if you share it on Facebook, your friends will like it. If you're very lucky, you get 10 or 20 of your friends to hit the like button. um
You have a lot of friends.
that's about it, um compared to you.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna look real quick. Depressingly enough, I'm gonna look at my scallop, which is my least favorite. 8 people, 8 people, and of those 8 people, I know personally. Let's see, all but two. so so that's 2 people. Now I did pick up a follower. I almost always pick up at least 1 or 2 followers um, during Inktober, which brings my staggering amount of followers to 417. Oh no, I'm so sorry. I follow 417. I am followed by 182. So, it's one of those things. It would be nice if there was more, but you can't really do it for that. You gotta do it for yourself. You gotta
I
just put it out there and have as good a time as you can.
I just logged into to Facebook
Yeah.
to like your photo, and now I'm stuck liking all of the birthday wishes that I got on Facebook several days
Ah,
ago.
yeah, yeah. I saw several people posting to your Facebook because of that, and I was like, idiots.
They clearly don't know me very well because
You and Paul Lindahl. Our friend Paul hasn't been. We're pretty sure he's alive, but he hasn't been active on Facebook in years. And yet, every year on his birthday, like a good 10 or 15 people. It dwindles. I think we're down into the maybe five or sixes now. But somebody's like, "Happy birthday!" I obviously haven't talked to you on here in years because nobody talks to you on here. Um, but I mean, it's so much so that it prompted us to a full scale half-assed investigation to see if we could figure out if he was alive via the internet.
Mhm. And we did
And
not.
we didn't, but we're pretty sure there was enough leads that we felt like he was he
We're
was.
f- we're not confident he's dead.
We're not confident. We're not confident about that. So, Paul, if you're listening, hi.
Yeah,
Um,
come join us on the show. Tell us what you've been up to the last
yeah,
10 years.
it would be great. It'd be great to know. You know what
We
else
miss
I
you.
miss? I miss Mark Lukowski. Remember him?
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that guy.
Anyway, let's talk about some comic book trading cards or whatever you wanted to do.
Okay, you got it. So the other day I was online and I'm part of a couple of different trading card Facebook groups, and this set of cards popped up, and I instantly knew I needed to have them. They are the 1992 edition. I don't believe that there's any other edition.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
1992 edition of the comic book creator trading cards. I was able to, like I said, instantly secure a complete set shipped to my door for about $15. So you know how hard they are to get a hold of.
Hmm.
But I mean, this is a really good set. They're super cheesy and ridiculous. Here are some of them. Um, you got Will Eisner is your first one there. Many of these names, Jim Shooter, are names that I've seen a million times, and this is the very first time I'm seeing a picture and associating a face with the name,
A picture of what they looked like at some point in the past.
right? Um, and then there's wonderful little
I think I may have met Jim Shooter in person once, like at a con. Like I may have like shook his hand or something, but I still don't remember what he looks like.
so there's a nice little rundown of why you know them,
Hmm.
you know, with some art that accompanies it. Could be their art, could be art that they've written for, perhaps. It's hard to say. I'm just gonna, I'm kind of just scrolling through the names that pop out to me. John Bashima,
Hmm.
Jim Starlin, John Romita. It's
Ah,
just John Romita. Doesn't say senior or junior, so this is before those days.
yep.
You know. Um, let's see, Martin Nodal. He is the creator of the Green Lantern. Bob
Hmm.
Burden, creator of the Mystery Men and the Flaming Carrot.
Hmm.
Uh, there's those guys. Okay, so here's one of my very favorites. Kurt Swan is on here. Marv Wolfman. Interesting note: Marv Wolfman could not take credit as an editor and writer for many years because the word Wolfman
Oh,
was not
jeez.
approved by the Comic Code. Um, George Perez on here. Sergio Agonis. And my very favorite, amazing looking Mr. Neil Richard Gaiman right in the center
Oh
there.
my! Wow.
This card is why I had to buy this set.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that card and I was like, holy shit, this is amazing.
Man.
I might
Yep.
frame that card.
You should tweet that at him and see if he's
Well, I think that's why I ended up finding it actually. So
because he was
I
getting
think
rid of it.
I think somebody had tweeted it to him, like, "Oh, I have your card still," and I was like, "Oh my god, what is that?" So we had Bob Kane here. Um, one thing I will note about this, um, first of all, a lot more women made it into this list than I would have assumed, given the climate of the '90s.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot less people of color. In fact, I don't think there are any people of color
Mm.
in this series.
Ooh.
Um, and I would be very clear in that is black people. I believe there are some Asian people in this for sure. I don't know everybody's stuff. I don't. But
Mm-hmm.
the people, the black community is definitely slighted in this particular set of cards. So this is, see, I don't know other than Bob Kane on this one. Matt Wagner, I've heard of him before. I don't know why. This is my problem. This is why I need these trading cards. It's wonderful to say things like, yeah, I know, I've heard that name. I don't know why, but I've heard that name.
They probably made a comic you enjoyed at some point.
All right, Larry Hama.
Oh yeah, I saw I saw an interview with him during PulseCon. Did you happen to see? Oh God, he looks so young. He's
Yeah.
he's so he's aged. I feel like he aged like all of a sudden. I don't know. If I, he's
Yeah.
one of the few people that I actually have seen throughout the years.
Uh huh.
Oddly enough, I haven't read any like GI Joe comics since the '90s, but he told a great story during PulseCon, where he said that one of his favorite thing about writing GI Joe was that people were willing to suspend their disbelief to a ridiculous degree with GI Joe,
Uh
and it
huh.
gave him a lot of freedom. He said there was one issue where, at the end of the issue, all of Cobra was sinking into quicksand at the end, like all of them. And then it ends, and his publisher was like, Larry, how are they going to get out of that? And he's like, I don't know. And he's like, you don't know? And he's like, nah, I figured in the next issue they'll just be out of it. Why do people need to know how they got out of it? They got out of it. It's fine. And he said he
And
did that.
there's
No one wrote to him
nope,
about it.
nope.
Nobody cared. He's like, yeah, so I just wrote whatever it sounded good. I wrote whatever I wanted. And obviously his G.I.
Oh,
Joe run is legendary, so
it
it worked
certainly
out.
is. It certainly is. I believe this next page holds my favorite card of the set, second only to possibly the Neil Gaiman. I'm gonna just show you, and Brian, you tell me. You see if you can
Okay, hold on. I'm
spot.
spotlighting you again here. Hold on. What am I looking for? Oh,
Ooh,
God. Oh,
just,
no. Oh, God. Oh, Todd McFarlane. Oh, my God.
a
Oh, gee. What is he
shirtless.
doing? Is that a baseball
It
bat?
is a baseball bat. Yep. Um,
He's just like, oh, you're here to take my baseball card photo? Sure, sure. Let me get
I mean,
ready.
to
And then
be
he just
fair,
shows up with no
he's
shirt on.
not the only one who did a baseball thing. There was a guy who was pitching earlier.
Right.
Everybody's funny.
He's
But
like, it's
yeah,
shirts
he's
and
like,
skins for baseball
yeah,
today, right?
exactly. He's like, I'm skins, just me. Oh man, and then like this guy looks like a cross between Joey Gladstone and the guy from Night Court,
Oh,
Harry.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that was beautiful. Again, I don't know who Tom Yeats is, but again, he must be on Skins. Um,
That must have been a common
I,
common thing back then for people to just take photos with no shirt.
like, hey, I'm gonna throw my shirt in the garbage. Is that cool with you? Yeah, it's cool with you. Good, 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 good. Um, this guy looks like I should know who he is, but I don't know.
Mark Wheatley, that name sounds familiar.
Right? So again, I gotta. Well, I can tell you why. Um, anybody knows? Nothing heavy metal. He worked in heavy metal.
Hmm.
Uh, um, First published with Starfuck and Erotica.
Ah,
Maybe we don't know him.
maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
Like I said, I mean, this is Mark Silvestri. I know that name.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
this
he's good.
guy in the middle looks very familiar.
Which one?
Uh, Paul Glacy.
Paul Galassi.
Oh,
That's a really 90s sounding name.
it is. Oh, I'm Paul Glacy. Are you? Bill Finger. I know that one.
Paul Galassi. He's gonna sell you his info tapes. That's
Yeah,
what
he
it sounds
is.
like.
Yeah, he is.
He was. He did Kung Fu, Master of Kung Fu. Who?
Bill Finger.
Oh yeah, okay.
Uh, Jack Kirby, Clive Barker,
Jack
Harvey
Kirby.
Picard. There's a lot of hits on this second to last page here.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Sal Buscema.
and
Bushima.
then yep,
How you say it?
Craig Russell. He's number 100 and yeah 9.
Number 100 in a 4-issue limited series.
Yep. And then number 110 is the old checklist. Again, most notably, I see Stanley is not included in this list.
Is he
And
even on the checklist?
he's not. No, it's not like I just didn't
He's too
get him in
big.
the collection. I have to assume that this whole thing was like in response to the notion that he was getting too big for his britches. And they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll put a whole trading card set, and you're not allowed in it." And I'm sure that stung
Yeah,
deep.
right.
Um,
Yeah. That just
yeah.
crushed him.
Well,
He was like,
92.
"That's
That
fine. I'll
was.
just be in every Marvel movie ever until I die."
I was just gonna say 92. That's right around Mallrats. So he was probably just too busy doing Mallrats. He does. He has a Mallrats trading card. I have it.
Yeah, well, there you go. So he does have a trading card.
So
They
he
were
has
jealous that
several.
he has a trading card.
He has several, but yeah, I was a little taken aback after I went through it, and I was like, there's people in this list. There are
Yeah.
there are lots of black. That seems awkward.
Yeah, that's very awkward.
So
Oh
yeah,
well.
the things that they did in the 90s. Oh, the 90s.
Mm-hmm. All right.
But yeah, stuff like that. I love Goofy. I mean, I love trading cards in general. I just think they're a fun medium, and an excellent advertising tool. That's really what they're the best for. Like
They're kind of like business cards.
they are. They're awesome, and they're like flashcards. When you were a kid, what did you do when you needed to learn math? You got flashcards.
Yeah.
You want to learn about all the characters in a vast universe. Look at their trading cards. They're gonna give their stats. You're gonna figure out more about them than you will on a. You find out more about a character on a trading card than you will in a whole run in the comic. Because you're not hearing about the things that happened 10 years ago, and you don't know how tall he is or what his middle name is or any of these other useless facts. um and so that's yeah, I've always loved the medium of trading card, and so stuff like this just kind of makes me giddy.
Mm-hmm. It's the same like I said earlier. I used to study the fold out pamphlets of Transformers because there were
Yeah,
no Transformers trading cards, but if there were, I would have had every single one so I could
right.
study them and memorize every single thing.
Yeah, when you get well, we didn't have the internet back then. You had to memorize.
Yeah.
You can just be like, how tall is Wolverine? No, 5'3",
Yeah.
bitch.
And it was unlikely that
204 or 245 pounds with the metal.
get with the mail. It was unlikely that you were going to get like every single toy,
Right,
when you were a
right.
kid, and so like your only access to these things without the internet was like wish books, you
Mm,
know, and trading cards and remarketing pamphlets and stuff.
yeah, yep. Cross market. Oh, loved them. Kenner was the best. Although I didn't have many Transformers ones, so I can't speak to that. They might have been better.
Those were
But
those were good
Kenner
because they
was
had
pretty damn good.
the Transformers ones were mostly all the same size, and I had basically until they disintegrated.
I was gonna say, do you still have any
I
like in
I
your
I don't
boxes?
have them. Nope.
Not
I might have one, but I have scans of all of them now. But
That's nice too.
they had amazing art. Um, I'll try and look them up. Maybe I'll show them on the next episode.
That'd be fun.
Um, but yeah, they had like amazing artwork, and then the earlier ones they were like photos and dioramas, and then then after that they changed to like cutouts of individual ones. But some of them would have like descriptions of things. It's like when I was a kid, I assumed that I always referred to the combined form of Power Master Optimus Prime with his trailer as Super Optimus Prime,
Okay.
and then found out as an adult, no one calls him that, and I couldn't find any reference to it anywhere. And so I was like, oh, I guess I must have made that up. And then I found, looking at the scan of the pamphlet, it says he combines to form Super Optimus Prime.
Uh-huh. That's
And that's
awesome.
the only reference to it anywhere. And I was like, well, yeah, obviously, because that was my Bible.
Right.
That
Right.
was before I had TF Wiki. You know, that was my Transformers Bible. So that's how I learned everything.
That's awesome.
Um, one last topic. Speaking of Transformers, actually, real quick, look at this. I transformed him.
Nice. He looks so good.
He looks awesome. So shiny. So
Yeah.
new. So nice. Anyway, this is a Transformers topic.
Yeah.
Still on the topic of G1 here because there was a Walmart Collector Con,
Oh yeah. I
and
didn't even look at that today.
this was this caught me off guard. These two toys that they announced. So clearly they only have like 4 or 5 G1 molds left that they can still actually use because
Right.
these are the same figures that were out in the vintage series a
Hmm.
couple years ago. But what they're doing is they're releasing figures in like TV and movie accurate colors. So
Gotcha.
this hot rod is, for the first time, actually pink, like in the movie, and not,
Like,
brown, because
right.
this is the same color that his original toy is.
Hmm.
You know, even though he's a hot rod. So there's a long debate about what color hot rod is because in the original movie he was pink, and if you saw it in theaters, he was pink. If you had like the VHS, the colors started to degrade and he started to look more red. And then the DVD, the original DVD was taken from the VHS. He looks more red.
Right.
And on the cartoon, he's mostly Rodimus Prime for basically the entire thing, and they draw him burgundy like this because that's Rodimus Prime is actually burgundy apparently
Okay.
in canon. Um, and that when the one time that he reverts back to Hot Rod, the artist just drew him the same color as Rodimus Prime.
Sure.
So when the I forgot 25th anniversary, I don't remember. DVD of the movie came out where they went back and cleaned everything up, and Hot Rod was suddenly pink again. Like a
Uh-huh.
lot of people lost their minds and assumed that it was a mistake. Um, but no, he was always supposed to be like this magenta color. And there's a photo of a prototype toy of his that was this color. Not
Okay.
with this decor and everything, but that he was originally the toy was going to be pink, and then Hasbro decided the main character in a boys show shouldn't be pink.
Of
You
course
know,
not.
so he was changed. The toy is red and burgundy and orange and everything. But now they're finally releasing Hot Rod in his pink color. But this one also,
Oh, I like that.
check that out.
That's really good.
Yeah, they've actually put paint on his face and made the see, you can't see my mouse. There it is. Made the side things, the side things that make up like the ears on his head traditionally were always just the same color as the nose cone, but they've
Uh-huh.
painted that. So there's new paint apps, like things that weren't painted before. They've got new paint markouts or whatever you call them. Um,
Nice.
he comes with the original shortened missiles. They had to do for like some of the reissues. They had to do the like longer, stupid looking missiles, so
Uh-huh.
kids couldn't shoot them down their own throats or whatever. Um,
Awesome
but yeah,
toy
this is
ruined by stupid dead kid.
yeah, exactly. So it's got like the Japanese release missile null ray things, but I love this concept of because they've been releasing these figures with the original colors and everything.
Hmm.
So might as well give me like what they look like. But here's the other thing, Pat, the box art.
Oh, I like that.
Like I
That's what I'm
said,
talking about.
you still see like the picture of the
Uh-huh.
the toy. It's got the picture of the toy on the back, but look at brand new art commissioned for this box. I
Nice.
apparently there we go. There's a picture of it. Looks awesome. It's
It sure
this is if you're
does.
gonna do a closed box, like the box needs to be awesome. You know?
Right. Well, I mean, like, look back in the day, like all that shit was painted, like
Yeah.
by legit fancy pants artists.
Hmm. I mean, not to say that this isn't art, but yeah, obviously
No,
this is
but like,
very good.
I guess what I was just alluding to is that it was like paint,
Yeah.
like literal paint.
Right. Yeah. This was like one person was commissioned to do the. I think it was, if I recall, two different people drew these in pencil, in
Uh huh.
ink, and then someone came and colored both of them. So like there's like multiple people involved with this.
Hmm.
Um, And then let me scroll through. And then the Starscream one. Oh, look at that jet mode. It's just
So
perfect.
good. I would buy that toy.
Look at that box art there.
That's awesome.
The box art, actually, now that I look at it, yeah, the box art is definitely of his Earthrise figure. Like that's clearly what they used for reference.
Okay.
Was the
Okay.
Earthrise figure, but still, because there's just a lot more red and stuff, and you could see the very specific detail from the
Right.
Earthrise figure there. I hope they continue doing more of this. Um, there's not many more figures in the vintage line that they could, like they could do an Astro Train and they could do an Optimus Prime, and I'm struggling to remember if there were any more that they released in the vintage line. So I don't think that this line is going to continue on unless they have other G1 molds that they can pull from. But it
Uh
really does seem like we're getting to the point where every G1 reissue is a reconstruction of the mold,
huh.
and that costs a ton of money. So they're definitely every time they do it, you're going to get a lot of reissues of that character.
Right.
I know that they have the Constructicons because
Hmm.
they just did Tonkanator. So I wouldn't be surprised
Tonkameda.
if we get a movie because Devastator was big in the movie.
Hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if we get a Devastator set at some point. That'd be pretty cool.
Nice.
But yeah, I just could these were not, to my knowledge, these were not rumored at all. So this was a pretty cool surprise
Yeah.
to
Are they
wake up to.
still available to pre-order or purchase at this point?
Maybe at Walmart. Has their Walmart exclusives. Hasbro has them sold out. They had limited stock at
Were you able to
Hasbro Pulse.
snag them from Pulse?
No, I got them at Walmart,
Gotcha.
unfortunately.
Indeed.
But they're actually slightly cheaper at Walmart.
Oh well, that's cool. I guess now it's just a matter of do you end up getting them or not?
Yeah, when will I get them? Will I get it before the Pulse people? Will I get it significantly afterwards? Who knows? But so anyway, I believe we've reached the end of our topics for today, and we are right on time. This is fantastic, Pat.
Nice. Look at that.
We're getting good at this. We're almost pros. So, thanks for watching, everybody. I do want to plug a couple of things. I do game streaming now on my own on sometimes Mondays and sometimes Wednesdays. Currently doing Space Engineers, but I'll probably at some point switch to something else. Um, yeah, that's it. That's all I want to plug. You want to plug anything?
Every so often I show up on those.
That's true. That's true.
That's
It's
all
fun
I have
times.
going.
It's fun times. Sometimes no one's there watching, and sometimes there's a whole bunch of people asking me questions about Space Engineers. So
That's pretty awesome.
yeah, it works out well either way. I almost just hung up on you accidentally. That would have been embarrassing. So,
Rude.
um, I believe Pat has informed me that we will not be doing an episode next week because of a personal engagement that's going on. And then the week after that may or may not happen because I'm traveling and I'll be getting back that day. And I don't know what time. I haven't bought the plane ticket yet, so I don't know what time we'll be getting back. Um, so we'll play it by ears. We might be taking a bit of a like fall break, as it
There
were.
you go. Maybe we'll hop in and do something on a weird day. We'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah. Maybe Pat will join me for some Space Engineers or
Yeah.
something. We'll see. In the meantime, Sludge says, have a great weekend.
Yay.
All right, bye everyone.